What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thirsty Thursday edition of Fourth and Go Philly 4 for 4 plus so much more here on the Heat Ratio Sports Network. I'm Dave Gluckman. This is Marc Tomasini. We're ready to have a jam-packed episode of all things Philly sports and a little bit more, as like we say in our slogan, our tagline, because we got the Super Bowl. Yes, the Eagles aren't in it, but we got to talk about Super Bowl 58 coming up. Trade deadline in the NBA just happened today. We'll go over that, all the moves, plus what's pertinent to the Sixers. I got a little piece of my heart stolen today. Talk some Phillies, some Flyers. But with that, let's bring in Mark. How you doing, bud?
What up, what up? It's a night for a champagne of beers because not a lot else going on.
The high life?
Living the high life, of course.
That's it. Yeah, bud. So listen, I was out doing some things tonight, had a baseball practice. And when I got back in my car after my baseball practice, I'd told my 11-year-old, and we'd just been to the Sixers game on Monday against the Mavs, and I said, we traded Pat Bev, and I didn't hear a word. I turned around. There were tears coming out of his eyes.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, that's how much. And I'm like, dude, I get it, because I was digging Pat Bev too. I didn't know it resounded that much with the kids here, but definitely, he knows basketball, but doesn't even, attach the campaign like you would attach to a guy like Pat Bev. And I get that they're trying to open up space to buy someone out. Well, or at least someone that gets cut they can buy out. But in the end, I'm telling you right now, you can say what you want. I love the Buddy Hield move. I love some of the other stuff that they're trying to do. But trading Pat Bev for Cameron Payne made no sense. And to send him to the one team that you're trying to catch, I don't get it. But, I mean, I do like that the Sixers were somewhat aggressive because they couldn't stand still. And I don't need Cork Mott's here anymore.
Yeah, it was a very weird day, to say the least. I was kind of going on Tony's show on the final, I think it was Final Judgment? Yeah, Final Judgment earlier today. He went live around 11.
Yeah.
11:30, and him and I were going back and forth. I was writing in.
That's right about when Buddy Hield hit. He hit around then. Noon.
Probably an hour and or actually maybe 2 hours.
So closer to one.
I would say it was. I feel like Buddy Hield was the first move of the day.
It was. But there 3 o'clock was the deadline. I remember Buddy around 12-ish, but whatever.
No, it was definitely way before that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, that was closer to 9:30. I would think it was it kind of started the day. It was okay, we're now really moving, because last night there were reports that even Keith Pompey was there's no movement or traction with a Buddy Hield deal between the Sixers and the Pacers, nothing. That was there. And I think the fact that Pompey addressed it really meant that there was something going on. Yeah, I mean, obviously Buddy Hield is the big get. Excited that they got sniper.
Yep.
For a 3-point shooter. Hopefully it takes some of the pressure off of Maxey. Hopefully that offense can flow a little better, because when they're double and triple teaming him, he really can't do much, as we see. So I think that was a good get. But when you look at everything that they did through the day, they got rid of a lot to get a little back. And really, I think Buddy Hield was the only piece that they got back. You look at it, they got. Okay. Campaign, he's a better 3-point shooter than Pat Bev, but you're gonna lose. And I think Payne is shooting 39% from 3 this year. I mean, Pat Bev was only 30, so obviously it's a big difference in that regard. But I think Pat Bev all around was doing really good, and the fact that really you're doing this to buy out Lowry is washed. I mean, that like I said, the hope is that he can maybe gut in and change the scenery and he can pull something together. But I don't think it's that much of an upgrade to go from Pat Bev to Kyle Lowry.
It's not an upgrade. I agree.
Right. Yeah. And that's the problem that we're looking at here. So now we're going to have to spend the money. You look at it. So I think everybody has been doing what they gave up for what they returned. We got Buddy Hield. He's the only real positive thing. Campaign and a 2nd-round pick. We gave away 3 other 2nd-round picks. Marcus Morris.
Yep.
Who's been good.
Who's been good.
Korkmaz, Daniel House, Pat Bev, I feel like there might have been one other player. Oh, Jaden Springer. The whole day was just weird, and it started to look as they were buyers. They turned into sellers. They turned into we're trying. Like can't really say which way they were going with everything that happened today.
No, I'm with you. And I like Heald, but the net doesn't seem like it met what was going out. Like I'm you like I gotta see the next move because you cut salary. I mean that's what they were trying to get under the apron so they could buy someone, pay for someone that gets bought out. But dude, you gave away a guy in Marcus Morris who grew up in Philadelphia, who came here, was playing, like you said, solid basketball that, was inspired to play, got to ring the bell, was like pumped up to be here. Pat Bev is an absolute Philly guy. Like, absolute. Like, did you see his podcast the other day when he was talking about Ben Simmons?
Yeah. Oh, it was so good.
He's like, dude, I walked up to him like, why are they booing you? He's like, I thought they were booing you. He's like, dude, you're corny as hell, and walked away.
They talked on the rest of the game.
Yeah, I love him. I absolutely adore Pat Bev. And like I said, like, I'll take Kyle Lowry, Villanova kid. I get it. But like, he's also a Brooklyn kid. It's not like he's rooted in Philadelphia.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I can tell you this. Going to the game Monday night, watching the game the other night against Golden State when they fizzled out late being third quarter. They're bad right now.
Yeah.
They do need something, like they need some infusion of whatever it is. And maybe that's the Heald pain. And then they bring Larry in to be that dog. Okay. But I don't know, man. I don't love anything about it. And really, I think we're getting to the point now with Joel Embiid. We understand he's out at least 4 weeks until they kind of re-diagnose what's going on. I think we're at a lost season.
I hate to think that too. And honestly, like, what would have salvaged it and didn't happen? I think if they could have pulled the trigger for Andre Drummond, it's very weird what Chicago has been doing. It came out. They haven't made a trade for 30 months. Like, that team has been a dumpster fire
for 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
They have not made one trade.
And Levine's out for the rest of the year, by the way.
Because, I mean, he chose to be out since they were like, we're not trading you.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes no sense whatsoever. And Sixers couldn't get a deal done for Drummond. I think at least that would have solidified you. It's tough. It's tough. Between Paul Reed and Mo Bamba, they're not doing, like, obviously nobody's going to fill Embiid's production. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
But at the center position, they're just not getting anything. Paul Reed is good in short spurts. Mo Bamba's good 5-8 minutes a game. Like, you can't have those two guys be your bigs. Right. Andre Drummond is somebody who works for rebounds, gets you a shit ton of rebounds. Like, he's the type of guy who can get 20 rebounds in a game. It's possible. Like, he's big body, and he can get you some putback points, and he can keep offensive possessions going. Like, the one thing I didn't want them to do is to give up a first rounder unnecessarily. And I really don't think that the price would have been asking for that.
Right.
But I really don't think it's tough because, like, when I was I was so optimistic after the Heald trade when I was talking to Tony, and I was like, they sign Lowry, they bring in, Andre Drummond, and you have Buddy Hield. This team is totally moving forward. They didn't do enough. And it's just a weird place to be in. It's a really weird place to be in. Yeah, and then you probably saw the Joel tweet that he put out today talking about a lot of teams got better. It's good for competition. I mean, like, was that a shot? Was that
or does he think we got better? I don't think he can think that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know he liked guys like Marcus Morris and Pat Bev. So it's like I kept thinking, okay, there's got to be something bigger here. There's got to be something bigger here as the day was going on. And then right at the very end, to trade Jaden Springer, who is a lockdown defender.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he looked great against Luka.
Work on his offense.
Yeah.
And to give him to Boston, so in like 2 years he can like blow it up in our face.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
Now I don't know. That's putting a lot of stock. Don't get me wrong. It's not all, but it's like to recoup second round picks.
Yeah.
Like the Pat Bev move was to bring in expiring contract for expiring contract and a second round pick. Jaden Springer, second round pick, just to recoup the second round picks that you gave up for Buddy Hield. If Buddy Hield was the only move, fine. I would have been fine with that. I felt like you unnecessarily gave up Pat Bev and Jaden Springer. And again, I'm not saying Jaden Springer is it. But if that kid puts together an offensive game, he's a good player in this league. He's a good role player in this league if he puts together.
I don't disagree with any of that. I watched him play hard against Luka the other night. I'm like, this guy is frustrating Luka.
Right.
He is a chest to chest, moves his feet well, good defender, like you said. And I'd have to look at Springer's contract, but I got to believe we've had him for at least 3 years already. So this could be he could be on the back end of a deal. But, and I actually think Hield is too. So I think it's almost a rental if we're not able to resign.
Spring or Hield, yeah, Hield is he is an expired contract. He's $18 million, but I think he's eligible for 2 years, $40 million next year. I think he's somebody that it seems like that's a move that you would make to actually bring him back if possible.
Yeah, he's like your JJ Redick when you had that kind of deal.
Right. They get another, sharpshooter. No, I mean, no, he was Jaden Springer was 21. Was his first year was in 2021. He becomes a restricted free agent in 25.
Okay, so after next year. So they got him for 1 year.
Right. So they have a club option. He has a club exercise option with Boston. And then after next year. So, I mean, he's not on a 1 year deal. You literally gave up somebody that you had brought in to develop for a second round pick.
And he's like one of our pieces that I thought was worth a pawn in a bigger trade, not for a throwaway trade.
Not just for a second round pick from Boston, for I think like the 41st pick in a draft. He was what, a 20th pick?
Something around there. Yeah, he was first round from Tennessee.
He was first round, right?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. I was like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. There wasn't.
Yeah. I agree with you. The got to be more part is just, it's a head scratcher that they went this far to do these things. There better be a move behind it because that's the only thing that maybe we're not seeing it.
But it's Kyle Lowry. I mean, or Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't see who like Robin Lopez has with Sacramento. He's going to be bought out probably. But there's no bigs. All the bigs moved.
Well, Robin's already with Milwaukee, I think, with his brother.
No, he got traded to Sacramento today.
Gotcha.
And Sacramento's probably going to buy him out.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like again, between Paul and I like Paul Reed a lot. Mo Bamba has talent, but he's a bonehead because he makes a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Between the two of them, you're not really getting much at the center position. Obviously it's with Embiid, he's always the advantage. Nobody can go toe to toe with him. Now, that's a disadvantage for us. And now Maxi's being doubled and tripled. And and Tony was very high on Tobias this year. And Tobias has had a good year. But again, Tobias,
he's just good.
When Joel is out, he does not take advantage of the moment.
No.
He just doesn't. And it's not like they're triple teaming him.
I agree. He's good, but not great. Hey, do I like Tobias as a fringe player? Yeah. Everybody will point to his salary and be like, oh, I don't get it. But like, I don't look at salaries like, he's like, I almost think he's a necessary third or fourth wheel, but he's not going to take over a game. I agree.
But that's the problem, though. There are a lot of those guys in the league can do that when they're asked to.
Yes.
There's a reason why Tobias bounced around most of his career before here.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't have that it factor that like he can score 30 points when Maxi's doing it and when Embiid's doing it. But he's not like he's done it once or twice in his career. He's like when he's been the only guy, he's put up massive numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just can't do it. And I understand that. And I know I'm saying the same thing for Maxey, but Maxey is all the talent in the world. He does things that a lot of people can't do, but he's still young and he's going through some rough times right now when they are focusing all on him. And when
it's clear. It's like the defense
they're throwing the sink at him.
Well, and then when they try and set that high screen and roll, it's a complete trap. Like they have no other interest except stopping him because for what Oubre is, which he's nice, he's not
going to take over a game, but
right.
That's why we got him on the deal that we got him, like a 1-year deal like that. He's got talent, and there's some times where he can put up 25 points in the game for you, but that's going to come with junk. That's going to come with slashing the lane. Like, you need facilitators to do that. And right now we just don't have any of that going. Like, without Embiid, the lanes, the backdoor dishes are just not there.
They're not.
There's nobody to take attention away from the lane. And they're going to make us shoot. And we shoot a 3-point at a low percentage. So the hope that bringing in, Buddy Hield's 41 or 39% shooting and Campaign's 39% shooting from beyond, the hope is that they're just going to be able to hit more threes. That's what they did.
And they're both, for what it's worth, they're both scrappy players.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the end, I don't think the Sixers got better at the trade deadline. And like you said, we're waiting out the idea that it's Kyle Lowry. That doesn't really tell me we're much different either way.
Right.
So say it is Kyle Lowry. You got to put him in the starting lineup. Is Melton coming back soon? I guess soon is what I'm hearing.
Melton was supposed to come back against Dallas. Did he?
No, he didn't play.
No, he didn't play.
And he didn't play against Golden State either.
Right.
Yeah. So tomorrow night's Hawks, I think.
Yep.
So maybe him there. If he's there, I don't put in. Lowry won't be there. But ideally, starting lineup: Maxey, Lowry, Oubre, Tobias, Paul Reed. It's still they're not. Yeah.
It's again Maxey, Lowry, Oubre. Oh yeah, Oubre, Tobias, Paul Reed. That doesn't really.
It doesn't do anything.
And it's right. It's just like I mean, did they? Unless I don't know, but it's weird because the whole reporting of this whole knee thing with Embiid has just been so weird. Like they still don't have, like they said he had successful surgery. Like, because if you were going to do the surgery that puts you out for 5-6 months, then the season's over. He's done.
Right.
You don't make these types of trades. So they have an idea that he's coming back, but it's just like you did stuff, but you didn't do enough. It's like, I still think they're a touch better now than they were before, but at what cost? That's really, to me, that's how I look at it. Like, you got marginally better, but at what cost?
Yeah. I mean, as much as I like a Morris guy, like, I mean, he's just a fringe, 15-minute guy, and he gets a little more minutes when you need to. But yeah, maybe marginally. But Sixers are in trouble. I mean, they're in there's a very good possibility they fall the playing game. Last week when we were on the air, I was worried about them falling to 5 or 6. Now I'm very much worried about them falling to 7, 8, or 9 because they look terrible. They look absolutely terrible without Embiid.
Yeah, it's tough.
We didn't know he was going that long last week when we talked.
Yeah, but I mean, you had to figure that was the case.
Yeah, yep.
But I just this morning when the Hield trade came in, I was like, okay, they have a plan. Like, they did this with a plan in mind. Again, unless there's something that's unforeseen, but really it's never like that. Unless like somebody crazy gets bought out, but I don't think there's been any indication. Like, the surprise today was that Dinwiddie would be bought out, and Dinwiddie has been nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you bring in Dinwiddie and could bring in Dinwiddie and Lowry. They have a couple roster spots open. I mean,
there was one trade, and I'm like, no way they wanted, like, this guy wants to go anywhere. Who was the one? So he might get just cut and bought out.
Olenek?
Yeah, Bogdanovich, I know, went, and Burks went to the Knicks.
There was talk about that people are like, why didn't the Sixers make that move?
Oh, it's a good move.
New York had Quentin Grimes, and the Sixers didn't have a player comparable to give them. That's what put it over the top for New York to be able to get those players.
Yeah, but there was just one, and I was like, okay, this guy's going to end up getting cut. No, that's not it. I'm looking. Mavs got something late. Schroeder, you're right. That's the Dinwiddie thing. Olynyk maybe because they probably wanted Abaji. Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. Maybe I was thinking Olynyk could be, but I mean, I'm not buying him out
because it went.
Grant Williams, and I hate that guy, but like, why would Charlotte want him? He's going to be picked up somewhere.
Yeah, because people were thinking maybe he's going to get flipped, but he didn't.
Yeah, and then he didn't get flipped, so maybe that's the one I was thinking about. But I don't understand how we had to give up 3 players. I didn't even know we had McDermott, but
what do you mean?
It says we gave away Doug McDermott.
No, so McDermott. So what happened is that Sixers Pacers trade turned into a 3-way trade with the Spurs. So Doug McDermott went to Indianapolis. Marcus Morris went to San Antonio. So there was thoughts when they first made the trade. It's like, obviously you can't bring back somebody who gets traded in that same season. But then there was the rumor that he got traded to San Antonio. And he was a buyout candidate there. The rule is, since he got traded again, he could have been bought out by the Sixers, but they turned that into a three-team trade. Keith Smith, NBA, who's a Boston guy, he's a really good source. He was the one who was able to say, like, he said it, like 10, 11 o'clock this morning. He was like, you're going to see a bunch of trades. They're going to turn into three-team trades. So that was one. So I think it just counts as one move. It's not 2 transactions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking like they're talking about ESPN's giving the Sixers a B for the Pat Bev trade just because it does free up the potential for Lowry or Dinwiddie. So those are 2 names at the top of the deal. So,
but I honestly thought that the Daniel House trade freed up space.
Yeah, I think it did. I thought it did. That definitely got us under the certain thing. And Pat Bev was on a 1-year deal, so I'm with you. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, like there was expiring contract for expiring contract.
What ESPN saying it clears room in the backcourt, but why? Because Campaign's a point guard like Pat Bev.
Again, it was a swap.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you there. I'm not sure what they're trying to say, but that's NBA talk for now. We got the All-Star game coming up next weekend, I think.
Is it? Oh, is it next?
Yeah, because Super Bowl's this weekend. So they
announced all the skills competitions and
you got the 3-point contest coming up, all that. But usually it's right around Valentine's Day, so I think it's next weekend.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I'm double checking that.
I thought it was this weekend, but that would have been too crazy.
Sunday the 18th is All-Star game. Yep. So that kind of wraps up our NBA talk today. Let's get into quickly Phillies talk. I'll say this much. All quiet on the Western Front is fine and good. There's been these fringe trades for some minor league arms, some potential bullpen arms, but the Phillies, I've seen power rankings come out right now, Mark, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me your top 5 teams in the MLB right now on the spot as it is, and do the Phillies make it number 1?
Philly, like MLB, not
MLB. Give me your number. Who would be ranked number 1 in Mark Tomasini's power ranking? And if you want me to lead off, I can.
Why don't you lead off?
I'm going to go. It's got to be Dodgers right now, obviously, with Ohtani and the Japanese pitcher they got, and just all the power they have behind that. I'll go Dodgers 1.
I don't think they did anything to get better, but I think they're still a really good team. And we're, obviously we're.
Ohtani didn't get them better?
No. Oh, no. Oh, are you telling me to say my number one now?
Yeah.
I agree. Yes, I agree with the Dodgers. I thought we were going 1-2. Yeah.
All right, you go number two.
I agree with the Dodgers for sure. But I almost think overrated. I like.
Yeah, I'm there.
I'm not ready to commit. Like, I mean, if you had, again, on the spot, it's the Dodgers. I just don't. I can't see them winning the World Series. That's just me.
No, I'm with you there. But they got to at least be crowned preseason champs. Who's your number two?
Right now, I don't know. I can't get them out of my head. I was going to say the Atlanta Braves.
And you were like hesitating. They didn't get. I think they got a lot better. Chris Sale, I think, is great arm that they got from the Red Sox. Yes, often injured. Kalenic, they got in a trade from the Mariners. The Braves always seem to find this Olsen or
right.
The catcher they got last year. Murphy. I think it's Sean Murphy. But they just seem to find these fringe guys. And Olsen turns into a 50 home run hitter, almost MVP of the league. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to go Braves too. My three, it's a toss-up here. A couple good teams out there. I will say I got to respect. I'm still going to go Astros. I wanted to respect the champs, and they're good, but the Astros just keep adding people. I'll take the Astros as three.
This might be recency bias. Part of me wants to say with the Corbin Burns deal, I want to say Baltimore.
I almost went there too. I did. Okay. I like it.
That would be my three.
All right. Then you go 4 now.
Then I'm going to say the Astros.
Okay. So I'm actually going to go Phillies 4.
Okay.
World Series and NLCS. So they've definitely been in the top 4 of the past 2 seasons. Yeah. I mean, we can argue if they got any real better in the offseason, but in the end, a full year Harper is going to be good. And I think they still have a big move to make, whether it's Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, or someone else, maybe a Dylan Cease trade. I'll go Phillies 4. And then it's back to me. So 5, I want to go Baltimore with you. I do, but I'm going to respect the champs right now. I'm going to go Rangers 5.
Right. So that was the other team I was dealing with. But I want to say I'm between the Rangers and the Phillies. The thing is, with the Phillies, we have still projected, and by all accounts, one of the best rotations.
Agreed.
I'm going to say Rangers. But I feel like that could hinge on if the Phillies make a move. But right now, I would say Rangers 5, Phillies 6.
All right, it's Philly 6. And then I'll probably put Baltimore at 6, but I will tell you this much, and I'm convinced the Yankees are going to be better next year. So watch out for them. Another team I'm keeping my eye on that I think has improved during the offseason, but to what degree we'll have to see. I think it's the Cincinnati Reds. I'm not putting them in the top 10, but watch out. If Lodolo's healthy, if they get Hunter Green rolling, that NL Central is wide open. All the Cardinals did was sign old people. I'm not convinced they've really fixed everything. They got Matt Carpenter just recently, but they got Kyle Gibson. Their rotation was a mess, and I know they filled some of it, but I think that NL Central's open. So watch out for the Reds. And then, I mean, obviously out west, we got to respect the Mariners still. They've made some key moves. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But yeah, I think, where I'm at, the NL is still a little stronger than the AL.
It is.
Yeah.
AL just has a couple power teams, but the NL is, in general, more consistent.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about the Diamondbacks, who I think with the, obviously made the World Series and made some really good moves in the offseason. And the Padres are just giving up. The Diamondbacks will be heard from this year again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's just it's a tough roster to go against. What's
your take on the Mets?
Mets are a mess.
I agree.
They're an absolute mess. I mean, Steve Cohen, he came in, Uncle Steve, he was going to, change everything. Things didn't go their way after 2 months, just kind of blew it all up. Now, they took a lot of chances on a lot of older guys. It just wasn't right fit, right place, right time. I think DeGrom leaving just kind of broke their backs. They were supposed to be in on Ohtani, and that wasn't happening. But I just don't think that Ohtani was ever considering the East
No.
Coast. I just don't think it just seems like most of the Japanese players just are not accustomed to the East Coast. The Phillies are. Fun fact. There's this guy, Kazuma Osayama or something like that, Japanese player. They're playing like not real. I don't know what the tournament is that's being played right now, but Japan played USA tonight, and this kid went deep. It's down Miami, and apparently it's somebody that the Phillies are heavily scouting. And also so hopefully, I mean, that would be cool. I would like to see if we start bringing in Japanese players, but Dombrowski did say you wouldn't believe the deal that we put on the table for Yamamoto. Yep. He just did. He just wanted to go out west.
And with Ohtani, I get it.
Yeah, I get it, but it's just like Phillies made a real run at that. It stinks that they do it. But that's why I feel like if you were going to give him all that money, you can pay a Montgomery or a Snell.
That's what. And who would you prefer? Because I'm on the fence here. As much as Snell won the Cy Young, I really like his metrics. Just scare me, and the way that he's often injured.
He's injured a lot.
Yeah, I know you can get Montgomery cheaper. I know he's older, not much, like 2 years, but I almost put my eggs in Montgomery's basket.
See, the thing is, I really like Snell a lot, but I just don't love the injury history. But
I can't pay him 6 years. I can't pay him 5.
Well, think about it. When we signed Arrieta, he wanted $200 million, and we got him for 75 over
for 3 years, right? I think.
Maybe that was only 3 years. So I think the fact that Snell hasn't even been mentioned, his price has come down a lot.
True.
He's going to have to buy into something, and I think this would be a great place for him to do so. Not a huge fan of his attitude. I feel like that can go against him, but I feel like this clubhouse would be able to get him on the right track. I would take Snell.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if I can get Snell for under $100 million,
right?
Like if I can get him for a Taiwan Walker deal, yeah. I was always against Snell just from the standpoint of I thought it was going to cost me $150 to $200 million.
Sure.
If he comes down to 100 or less, I'm in over here Montgomery. I want K power, and that's what he has.
All right. Think about what Nola got. Like he's definitely getting a lot less than Nola.
And 2 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
We're talking about now, right? And lefty.
Yeah.
Like there's all the benefits behind it. And the thing with Dylan Cease, he will get moved eventually. The White Sox are a dumpster fire, but you're going to have to move something decent, right? And I'd rather use money to bring in my asset than use assets to bring in assets.
Well, it's like the Phillies have checked in on the closer in Cleveland, but they want a lot.
Clase? Yeah.
They want a lot. And
I can't.
Crawford is the name that's been attached to that, and they're not going to give Justin Crawford for a closer. It's just not happening.
No, and then the Dodgers did just re-sign Clayton Kershaw, so I think that takes them out of the bidding war for anybody like that, like a Snell or a Montgomery. So I'm with you. And we saw this. I think Arrieta was later, but who else drug on and didn't get signed until like first week of March? There was a. We could even go back to. I want to say Castellanos was that.
Castellanos and Schwarber. I think I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
they were like a week or two apart. And Castellanos, I do remember, was like March. I'm trying to. So that was the year of the strike. That was 2 years ago. I was down in Marco Island because we were supposed to go to spring training, but the season was on lockout at that point.
Yeah.
So that was definitely like March 17th-ish, around St. Patrick's Day. And I think Schwarber was like the beginning of March because everything was like pushed back a little bit. So, but again, that's lockout due. But still, I mean, we're about to be in the double digits of February. So, I mean, things could draw out for another week or two. I thought we would start hearing more moves at this point, and we just haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Be interesting because, hey, by the way, you talk about spring training, Mark. I am going down to spring training St. Patty's Day this year. Got 3 games locked in. Just bought my flights. going 17th through 23rd or something like that. Excited. I haven't been down about 10 years. It's been since my oldest is 14. I think I took him at 2 or 3 years old. So it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. It was Bright House Networks Field back when I last went. I forget what it's called now, Lumen or something. I don't know.
I'm actually going to be there a week before you. So
when do you get there?
So I fly into Tampa on the 7th at that night. The next day, the Phillies play the Astros on Friday the 8th. And but then the day after that, we're driving down to Marco Island.
I'm actually going to fly out the 14th. My first game's the 17th. So, but if I find them playing, 14th, 15th, or I'm not the 14th. I won't be there early enough. 14th, 15th, or 16th, I might try and find them on the road. We'll see.
Yeah.
When are you flying back?
The 13th.
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, so we're gonna miss each other completely. Yeah, we're just going for the one game, and then.
Are you going to Clearwater for it though?
Yeah, no. We're actually going to the game.
No, I'm saying their home game. A home game. You're going.
Yeah, the home game. Yeah, they're playing at
Boston.
Yeah. So we're excited to check out Frenchie's. I think WP's going to be there when I'm there. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got the I think mine are I got the Rays. I'm looking at my tickets now, and the Yankees. So some decent teams.
Yeah, last year I went to the Red Sox field. I think they were right outside of the Fort Myers airport. They play in Fort Myers, and they played the Rays that day. But I mean, there was not one player of note playing on either team.
I'm sorry, it's Rays, Blue Jays, not Yankees.
Oh, okay, that'll be good.
But I'll take Blue. Yeah.
Absolutely. No. That's Blue Jays are legit.
Yeah, I think that's another team we got to talk about, top 10 in baseball, probably.
Yeah.
Their problem is they shrink when the time is when the lights are brighter, right? Like I think they scored one run against the Twins in the playoffs the year before. They scored nothing. They had one big game against the Mariners and then got shut down. So their offense needs to wake up when it's time, but it's good in the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome that you're going down. We'll have to talk it up. We'll have a couple.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, I just bought tickets. I'm not a flyer. I've been driving a lot to Orlando in the past few years, but we decided to fly just because the schedule's better. Frontier. What do you know about Frontier?
You're fine. So before I've had to take Frontier a lot.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, my dad flew for American and stuff like that, but just with how crazy the prices
are. That's where my points are, American, but I couldn't do it for 5 of us.
Right. Yeah, Frontier, it's honestly like I think they've gotten better since all the other like airlines have disintegrated and everybody's dissolved and merged and that whole thing. I think you're fine. One time I had one issue that a plane just never came like until later that night. It was return home from Orlando. Yeah. But besides that, I mean, I've taken it a decent amount of times.
Just get me there. I don't care. I'll sleep.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
Yeah, just get me there.
You're good.
I ended up, I didn't pay much, but I got the front row. But I think the front row is actually booty because it's up against a bulkhead. But I don't care. Just get me there.
Yeah.
Get me there. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be good.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's talk a little bit about this Super Bowl coming up. Super Bowl LVIII 58. San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. Mark, I went on a show last week, and I was the only one that picked the San Francisco 49ers. Alluded to it earlier in our show last Thursday. And the more I see it, I got Ocho Cinco putting his whole life, and babies on the Chiefs. I see Dave Portnoy put $500K, Barstool CEO, on the Chiefs. Everywhere I look, Chiefs. Yet the point spread is going from 1.5 now to Niners -2. I still feel resounded, and I still want to sit firmly on this poll. The San Francisco 49ers are winning the Super Bowl. I'm just not sure I like it. But that's where I'm leaning, and I'm going to say out loud and proud, like they shouldn't be here. The Packers had them. The Lions had them. And they're living like a cat on 9 lives. And I think that is something to be said with the 49ers right now. And if I had to cheer for a team, I think I would cheer for the Kansas City Chiefs just because of the Andy Reid background. But I think the Niners are going to win it. Where are you at?
So when it comes to who I'm rooting for, I really like this is one of those games where I literally don't want either of them to win.
I agree.
It's because the whole thing is the extracurricular stuff with the Chiefs. I can't stand the 49ers. I mean, I guess with a gun to my head, if I'm allowed to say that, I guess I would lean towards the Kansas City Chiefs interest wise. But again, that's, Travis Kelce. I'm over all that. Anywho, before I get into crazy diatribes about the Chiefs, who I'm going to spare everybody. But I get what you're saying, but also I could use your argument for the fact that the 49ers have been on 9 lives.
Yeah.
Against you too, though.
I agree. You can.
They should have lost to the Packers. They should have lost to the Lions. And the Chiefs kind of have done the same. They had their backs up against the wall with both the Ravens and the Bills. The Dolphins were the only game that was clear and away, but given the circumstances and given that I don't think Miami was ready to be there, you could say the same for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs defense has the opportunity to shut down the Niners. I think they can shut down the pass game. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to do some things. So that would be I honestly think it would be between Debo and McCaffrey in the short game that would win it for them. But with that being said, I think Spagnuolo, if he's been having these great games and he's been going after the big guns, and he's usually able to shut teams down, even though like Baltimore, they just had a terrible game plan, decided not to run the ball. What got them to where they are? Excuse me. I think the Chiefs defense is going to make it hard for the 49ers. I think Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs offense is going to do what they have to do. They're just going to get by. I think it's a really close game. But I think the Chiefs defense has the opportunity to be a difference maker because they're going to force Brock Purdy to throw the ball. And I think they're very opportunistic and they will be able to rule him out. So
I agree. Everything you're saying, spot on.
Right.
Mahomes versus Purdy. Mahomes is an underdog. Everything you're saying, I got you. But still, men, 83% of the money, 84% of the bets, according to sportsbettingdime.com, is on the Chiefs, and yet this line is still moving in the favor of the Niners. Something just doesn't add up. I'm giving you numbers is why I think the Niners will cover and win. But eyesight, it totally tells me Chiefs. These Niners are susceptible. They should have been beat by 2 average teams. Well, I'll give Detroit maybe a little above average, but Chiefs are way above average. So, yeah, I'm with you. But in the end, I think the numbers tell me something's up. Vegas knows it, and it's going to be the Niners. And it's going to drive me insane because Deebo Samuel's still talking. These guys still can't get the Eagles out of their head. It's just them winning the Super Bowl will be annoying if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, and what you're saying too, I think we both understand where both of us are coming from. It's really you're on one side, I'm on the other. But like I look at it, the Niners are that much better on paper, both sides of the ball.
They are.
Like Kansas City is very talented. Don't get me wrong, but San Francisco is so much more versatile.
Better receivers, better running back. Yep.
Right.
Better offensive line, probably.
Right. Better. I would think better defensive line. In total.
Definitely.
Chris Jones is a difference maker, don't get me wrong, but better linebackers.
Better secondary, KC has.
KC, better secondary, but that's
better quarterback.
I would give the front 7 to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, Chris Jones is a monster, but when you look at Chase Young, who hasn't been good, but Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, like that's already right there. On paper is a stout front 7.
So I like it. I'm on the Niners. You're on the Chiefs. Anything else that you like going into the Super Bowl? For me, I'll bet a couple fun props. I think I'm going to look at McCaffrey in the receiving game. I know 4.5 receptions is juiced up a little bit, but I will look at that. Chiefs play a lot of man-to-man defense, so I'll look at McCaffrey receptions. I'll look at Brock Purdy running yards because of that fact too, because really, let's be honest, the guy, when he doesn't see anything, he tucks it and goes. And he did that in the last 2 playoff games. So potentially I'll like that as well. But outside of that, I'll just play some fun bets. But I'm probably just gonna play some game bets, some silly prop bets, and sit there and just socialize with people because I don't care about the game.
Yeah, the one thing I haven't gotten a chance to look at the numbers, but I feel like this will be a game where the first half will be on the lower scoring side. I would probably take whatever the over is for the second half. Like if you had to do over unders on the between the halves.
They got to feel it out the game.
Probably under on the first half, over on the second half, because I could see this being one of those games where not a lot is going on, and then at the very end they just start going shot for shot against each other. Not like extremely high scoring, but I'm talking about like, I would say 7 or 30 something points in the second half, and I would probably only say like 13, 16 points scored in the first half. So I feel like it could be one of those what turns into a high scoring game, but we'll say, I don't know.
So where are you watching it?
I think my sister's house. Nothing crazy because they don't like, none of us really care.
Yep.
About it. It's just we're just going to use it to an opportunity to eat, drink, and just have the game on kind of in the background. I watched the Eagles game there last year. And, obviously this year it doesn't mean anything, but still something to do.
I agree. Yeah, I'm going to have some people over right now, like just some close friends, my brother and his family, nothing, maybe 10, 15 people. And we'll just hang out, talk, let the kids run around and, good times. That's all that matters because, the Super Bowl, if your team's not in it, it's actually way more peaceful. Last year, I limited who could come over, and I didn't really get to socialize much, and I was miserable. I just really was. So, as much as I hate the teams that are in it right now, I'm fine. I'll be fine because
I'm glad there's no stress.
Yeah, no stress. I'll be hanging out, and the game will be on almost as a background.
Right. The moment that the Eagles lost in Tampa Bay, I was just like, I can breathe again. Like, it's kind of what it is, and it's just like, do I wish I was not breathing? Yes, but I am. And now I move on. Now I was like,
how we played,
looking great. You know,
because of how we were ending the season, to end it then was the right thing. So
exactly, I wouldn't want them squeeze out something against Tampa Bay just to get smoked by
Detroit
or Detroit or San Francisco. Something like that.
Yep, and it would have happened. But talking about that, I did not catch really anything in the Pro Bowl, but I caught some highlights, I guess. Looked like Jalen Hurts was having fun. So, maybe we got a little more. I won't call him Kawhi Leonard anymore. Maybe we got a fun guy.
Yeah. He had a smile on his face a couple of times. Oh, wonderful. So wonderful.
But the interesting part coming out of the Pro Bowl, and I'm sure you caught this, was a couple of fans yelling at Jason Kelce, telling him, don't go. It's not time. I'll hate football. And he's like, yeah, I don't think you're going to hate football or something of that sense.
He said, they're like, don't go. He's like, I'm going to try not to.
Yeah. I think, and Travis keeps talking it up too. Like, dude, he's got more in him. And I don't know, maybe he's re-energized by, the fact that the offense is now under, capable hands and the defense is really under, some veteran leadership from the headset perspective. So maybe that has given him hope that he doesn't want to end it the way it ended. And you know what? I was actually comfortable moving on, even though he did play at all-pro caliber level and deserved that nod. But I was okay because Cam Jurgens and some other people will be fine. But he can still play guard then. And I think one more year I'm on board with. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm
38.
I think. Take what?
I think he's 38, something like that.
No. He's 36.
36. Okay, yeah.
36. No, I'm fine with him returning. Here's an unpopular take. I've gotten too much Jason Kelce over the last while. It's probably Travis. It's because of Taylor Swift. I could go on a long ass diatribe about, but again, I'm not going to. I'm going to spare you. But it's just been over the top, and it's gonna, again, unpopular, but the crying thing, It's going to be the last thing. Schefter puts out that he's retiring. It's just enough is enough. Like, I understand he has the right to make a decision. I understand that he's earned that, but it's been the mix of him being in everybody's face. He's been everywhere to where it's like, dude, you know whether you're retiring or you're coming back. Like, it's like he's doing a lot of the theatric stuff, and to me, I see through it, and I'm just kind of over it. If he's going to play, great. I'm glad because I know he's an all-pro center, and I love that he's an all-pro center for us, and he's given us his best, and I appreciate him for all that. It start everything else, the extracurricular. I'm the old man, get off my front yard, but it's enough for me.
I hear you. The only thing like, you can't announce it now while your brother's in the Super Bowl. That's the only thing to say.
I get that, but he could have handled, like, I know it was emotional, and I know, well, like, the popularity that he's gotten garnered throughout this year and with everything going on, like, the cameras are going to be on you. You're going up, you're hysterically crying, you're going to your family. It's like, I'm just going to come back. And it's like, the Eagles have to make a plan about what they're going to do. Are they moving Cam Jurgens over there? Do they have to go out and get a right guard? We don't know if Tyler Steen can do it. Like, this whole thing. And then it's just like he gets to hold the balance in his hands another year in a row. It's just, to me, I'm just getting tired. But I'm all for him coming back and being our center because I think he still has it in him. He did look like he got ran over a lot, though, in that Tampa game. But I think they just looked reckless. So hopefully that's all it was. But he was getting pushed around.
No.
He was getting pushed around big time. There was times he was like flat on his butt.
I tell you, I like the unpopular because the popular often doesn't win. So the unpopular takes are always a hot take that I love to hear. But with that, we're up against the 11 o'clock hour here, moving into probably another Heat Ratio live segment with Tony Cotillo, bringing you through the night with some really good hot topics, as we like to do here as well on Fourth and Go, part of Heat Ratio Sports Network. Listen, we'll be back next week. We'll talk a little bit more about our spring training ventures coming up. We'll talk some because the Phillies are going to be getting some of their players in town. We'll talk some Sixers, see if they can start to, turn this thing around a little bit. I'll be going to the Heat game on Wednesday night, so I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, we'll also recap the Super Bowl next week. As you can tell, we care, but we don't. But with that, Mark, you got anything else?
No, it's hope for the best.
Hope for the best. That's all we can do, especially right now after we lost our boy Pat Bev. But hopefully the Sixers do start to turn things around, and we see a little bit more on the Eagles front as once the Super Bowl ends, we get into some hot and heavy NFL free agency season, which Mark and I break down and love doing it. So until next week,
we'll just won MVP, by the way.
Who did?
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, rightfully so. I'm good with that. I had a ticket for 18-1 early in the season, so I'm happy with that. I had him and Hurts were my two that I thought would get it. So good stuff there. But until next Thursday, we'll be back again here, 10 o'clock, Heat Ratio, Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter. Follow us wherever you can. Give us a comment, give us a like. It goes a long way. Until then, I'm Dave. That's Mark. See you next week.